For 3 weeks, the forest around the Skagit Basin was lit by the amber glow of more than 300 kerosene lanterns. Volunteers from around the region moved in long, flickering lines, scouring the brush for Clarence Allen. He was 13 years old when he failed to return home from school. In the final week of October, the sky over the North Cascades simply opened. 11 inches of rain fell in 7 days, the highest amount of rainfall in recent history of the North Cascades. By October 24th, the search for Clarence was called off. The treacherous rain caused the search to be deemed simply too dangerous to carry on. The date today is November 8, 1947. The torrential rains have since cleared. However, the mystery of Clarence Holloway has returned with a cold, impossible reality. Earlier this morning, a hiker passing through the North Cascades stopped on a ridge overlooking the isolated grounds of Blackwood Manor. From that elevated position, looking down through the white-tinted glass windows, the hiker could see a body lying lifelessly on the floor of the living room. It was Clarence. His school satchel rested neatly beside him. The discovery has paralyzed the local authorities. During those 3 weeks in October, the volunteers didn't just pass by Blackwood Manor. They used the estate as a landmark for their entire search area. They had pried into the manor almost every day. Over 100 of the volunteers who searched for Clarence have already confirmed the same chilling fact. Clarence's body had not been there. Even more troubling is the state of the house itself. Since the massacre in 1925, Blackwood Manor has been sealed off by the authorities. Every door has been cross-boarded with timber. Every window is bolted shut. Even the smoke chimneys were grilled off with heavy iron security grates during the original construction. Yet, authorities report no forced boards, no cut grates, and furniture that remains entirely undisturbed. Everybody in the community now has the same question in their mind. How did Clarence Holloway ever find his way inside?
Welcome back to the Radio Archives, where we dig out old, unsolved, or chilling encounters from around America. Our focus today is Archive File 83B, a recovery from the Skagit County Sheriff's Department vault. This log documents the events of April 12, 1983, involving Deputy McDermott and an acoustic disturbance that defied seismic explanation. In the archive, it writes that on April 12, 1983, 0200 hours, the Seattle City Lights powerhouse in the town of Diablo logged vibrations so intense it was disrupting the operations of the turbines in the hydroelectric dam. The source was pinpointed to the ridge overlooking the basin, the site of Blackwood Manor. Fearing damage to the dam's infrastructure, workers contacted the Sheriff's Department, who then dispatched Deputy McDermott to investigate. He arrived at the perimeter of the estate at 0245 hours to find the forest in a state of absolute, unnatural silence. Upon a primary sweep of the perimeter, McDermott reported no signs of forced entry, no footprints in the earth, and no evidence of trespassers. The manor sat in total, oppressive darkness. In the deputy's own words, it looks completely abandoned. Curiously, while Deputy McDermott reported the grounds of the ridge to be perfectly still beneath him, the powerhouse in the valley was still reporting massive seismic spikes coming from the deputy's location. Deputy McDermott later also recorded an event that it in itself is a mystery. While the ambient temperature of the Skagit Basin stood slightly above freezing, McDermott noted that as he approached the sealed double doors of Blackwood Manor, the air began to feel warmer. He recalled it felt almost like a summer's afternoon that allowed him to stand comfortably by the double doors even without his standard issue heavy-duty jacket. Ultimately, the Skagit County Sheriff's Department was forced to close the file for lack of evidence. No trespassers were ever apprehended, and no mechanical source for the heat or the vibrations were ever identified. Meanwhile, the Seattle City Light technicians have also found the turbines to be unscathed following the vibrations, thus allowing dam operations to resume normal. Archive File 83B remains a permanent mystery for the Sheriff's Department of Skagit County.
January 14th, 1925. In the high frozen peaks of the North Cascades, the Blackwood bloodline was systematically erased. Because of the manor's absolute isolation, the world remained unaware of the tragedy. For 3 days, the house sat in a heavy, unnatural stillness. It wasn't until January 17th that the police finally arrived, finding the 7 occupants posed in defensive positions. Records indicate that rival business competitors, wanting to shatter the Blackwood monopoly, hired a lawless band of marauders to strike while the family was gathered for a rare winter gathering. The 7 occupants were Arthur Blackwood and his wife Margaret, Robert Blackwood and his wife Helena, Arthur's son Edward, Arthur's daughter Catherine, and the last, Robert's daughter Hazel, only 14 years old. Arthur, Robert, and Edward fought back with whatever tools they could seize from the stone halls, but they were ultimately overpowered, captured, and gagged. They were then forced to watch the despicable befoulment dealt toward the women. Margaret, Helena, Catherine, and 14-year-old Hazel had been cornered and captured in their rooms. There, they were subjected to violations so foul and desecration so despicable that the local records of their final hours were redacted and forever sealed. Then came the cold, calculated execution of the Blackwood men. One by one, the marauders slashed their throats, forcing the next to look on. Arthur was left for the very last, forced to watch the light leave the eyes of his entire bloodline, witnessing the absolute extinction of his family name before his own fate was finally sealed. Today, that same Scottish Balmore-style manor stands isolated in the Skagit Basin. Preserved by the locals, it is now operating as an Airbnb, a popular destination for anyone crossing the Northern Cascades. If you ask around, some will claim that the nearby town of Diablo was named after the devil's perversion that occurred at Blackwood Manor, a permanent reminder that the region never forgot the horror of 1925.